Hello, everyone. Hey, Coco. Thank you so much for joining me for this call today. I'm so excited you're here. I'm just going to briefly introduce Coco to you and then we'll dive right in. So, Coco is an internationally celebrated intuitive, clairvoyant, spiritual guide, medium, author, and speaker. Her mission is to guide women around the world to awaken their divine feminine essence and highest potential so they can live happier, more love filled lives without compromising on their deepest desires. In the past year and a half, approximately, Coco and I have worked together to bring two amazing Oracle card decks to life. First, the love messages from your pet Oracle, and then the Magical Mermaid Oracle, which is our newest release. So welcome, Coco. I'm so excited and so happy you're here with me.
Thank you so much, Anna, for inviting me. It's always lovely to be with you. Well, face to face.
Yes, likewise. So, first of all, I'd love to hear a little bit more about how you got started on your spiritual journey. I imagine it's probably been a long journey for you. And also, if there was like a key moment where you knew that it was time for you to start sharing your wisdom with the world and that you had a purpose to help other women on this journey.
Sure. So I was born this way. And I think most of us are. Um, so as a little girl, I just couldn't connect with human or to this earth. I just felt I was meant to be somewhere else, if you know what I mean. And since I could not connect normally with other kids, my friends were fairies. Um, so as a child, it was fine, but as you grow up, I was outcasted, I was weird, I got bullied, and my parents could not understand me, this child, that because they weren't seeing what I was saying or they weren't hearing what I was hearing. So it was very difficult for me that I could not share my word with theirs. So as I growing up, I think I kind of went inside the closet, tried to fit in the society, tried to fit in the world that most people live in. So I will skip ahead a little bit because it is a long journey that I took. Um, so um, throughout, I was single parent with my boys, and I took a route of giving birth at home with midwife. So that world with natural healing, love and kindness and compassion sort of reminded me of where or who I really was in a way. And then I started really going into, oh, this is more, I feel home. So I started being drawn towards groups or people who are kind of in my realm of things. So I started meeting more with people in the spiritual world, and I met my mentor, I met my community. So I started going out of my closet a little bit, and I really started embracing my gift. So the first, like a very, very first step was to become a doula and a midwife. And I started without really realizing or knowing, I was starting to use my gifts in that, working with moms, working with babies, working with family. Um, and as my life evolved, I started having my own business, integrating my gift with the real world. And I started having friends, and I call them my soul family. Um, and then going forward a little bit, and I got to where I was living a comfortable lifestyle, and it's like recently the whole world went through a pandemic, and the things happened within the world, and I lost my sister who were living in Japan. Then I started really going into, or I found out that so many women are still struggling and suffering. Um, and I just put out the intention into the universe. Then I wanted myself to be emissary of the divine with my gifts. So, but I let go of the form or timing, if you know what I mean. And I just say, just please use me, and whatever my destiny, my purpose, my mission is, I will, live it. I will fulfill my purpose, and um, and it got led to me to you.
Thank you for
So,
sharing that beautiful story. I mean, there's so much in here that I can relate to, so much. What you shared about your childhood growing up, feeling very different from everyone else. I've heard similar stories from so many who are in a similar path, and I feel like we just kind of remember on some level that we came from a different world, or that we've lived in different worlds. And um, sometimes it can feel very unfamiliar or almost threatening, I guess, in this world when we feel like we belong to a world where love is, the reality, and we can connect so easily with others. I also love seeing how how you were so beautifully led on this journey, and I think that's, if we are open to listening, it's really such a beautiful path that can unfold for all of us. And I think you did this just in a really beautiful way. Yeah, there's so much here. What I wanted to,
yeah.
sorry, go
No,
ahead.
I just wanted to add that I cut a lot of a lot of my life journey, but I think important thing, as you and I think a lot of the audience know, is that um, I mean, I summed up my journey, but it wasn't all roses and rainbow, right? Like, we step forward, where we go back, and things happen because it's life. But I think at the end of the day, if we keep believing that we are, divinely created, and we are meant to have thriving, wonderful, beautiful life, and believe in love at the end of the day, I think, we can keep on going and make this world beautiful together.
Yeah, that's so beautiful. And that definitely brings me to my next question. So I wanted to ask you a little bit more about your approach to creating abundance. I feel when I see you, when I see your work, I feel like you're really a teacher of creating abundance in a very specific way through divine feminine practices. And of course, there's so much more in that. And I also feel like this deck in particular really embodies that essence so much. And so I wanted to ask you a little bit about maybe your journey, what inspired you to start exploring this path, and maybe it just happened naturally too. Um, but like, what would you say is the essence of that work for you? And also, like, what tips do you have? Like, what are your best tips for women specifically, or anyone who's listening to this, really to create a more abundant and thriving life on all levels?
I started noticing, maybe because I mean, I am an American citizen, but my heritage is Japanese, so we have different background and culture. Um, so I started noticing, because when I started to when I started my business, I started network with other people, and I started noticing the masculine energy and feminine energy. And it's nothing to do with being the woman or being the man, or being it's the energy, it's yin and yang, it's the balance. but a lot of women, I'm just going to speak specific to women, when we go into business in the work mode, we embrace so much of masculine and we kind of lose the balance of masculine and feminine. So with the feminine energy, it is receiving, it's the moon energy. So, and the masculine is the sun energy. It's in Archangel Michael. It's you're taking action, you are living your purpose. And it's great, and we do need that. But however, if we are not receiving, like we can attract abundance, but if we are not receiving that abundance, eventually we're going to spiral down to self-sabotage. And I have witnessed that a lot, and especially female women entrepreneurs. So I started kind of researching and studying more. Okay, how is this person successful? How is this person not succeeding the way? And for me, abundance should be effortless. What I mean is that it's not like we just sit and and not doing anything, but abundance is our birthright. That means receiving abundance should be effortless, that we are not pushing and pushing and pushing. When we do so, it's like the giving birth too. I know like TV shows and movies um, to, paint this picture of, you push and push and push to, give, give birth. But it's actually letting go and allowing yourself to receive. That's when you receive abundance effortlessly and in a beautiful way. For me, when you're pushing and working so hard and you are not manifesting as much as you desire, something is not aligning or the balance is lost somewhere. And for women, I have myself and my clients or family and friends, when we start our day in feminine energy and fully allowing ourselves to receive first, and then as we go through the day, we'll put in a little more masculine energy so we can, work and get things done. We are able to manifest much more abundance in an easier way, beautiful, effortless way, if that makes sense.
Yes, absolutely. And what you shared definitely reflects a lot of what I've experienced on my own journey. I feel like for me, it's been so much a journey of actually rediscovering my feminine side. And I mean, I've been in business for more than 14 years now in different kinds of businesses. And I remember when I first got started on this journey, I mean, I was just coming out of corporate and it was so different from the way I run my business nowadays. And I've experienced everything from burnout to, um, struggling to receive abundance to shifting in a way that has allowed me to create abundance so much more effortlessly. And it's been the same for me, like really honoring my feminine essence more. And actually, nowadays, after all the deconditioning that I've done, my experience is almost like the opposite. If I put in too much effort, maybe let's say in the past I was working, and I was making maybe a lot of money, but I wasn't feeling the satisfaction. I was just feeling really stressed. And nowadays, I notice when I just put in too much effort or I push too hard, then it's almost impossible for me to receive anything. Like I really have to, slow down, ground, go into nature, take a nap, like whatever it takes to rebalance. And
Exactly. I mean, I see you going into nature and embracing the love, and I think it's beautiful. I think society makes it very challenging for women, um, wherever you are in this world, I think. And especially if you are coming from corporate world working with men. I have seen a lot of women kind of wearing pants. It's not, physically, but metaphorically, they're wearing pants so they can go shoulder to shoulder with men. But when you do that, we start to feel empty inside, because that's not, I mean, when men and women are equal, or all of us are equal, but we are made differently. So we receive differently, we create differently, and I think we should embrace, who we are, and it's not just um, body of woman or body of men. If you identify yourself as a woman, then I think embracing that divine feminine is crucial to, living the life that you desire.
Yeah, and I think the balance is so important. And I've had those like similar conversations with some of the men in my life too. And I really actually admire the men who, have done that work too, and who have like found a way to balance those energies within themselves. And I think we always need both, but just really having that balance. And I think just in this world, we definitely tend to have an over exaggerated masculine energy a lot of
Yeah,
the time.
definitely. I worked with Fortune 500 Japanese companies, CEOs and executives, but what we ended up doing is embracing their divine feminine part of it, because the society raised our men to be so masculine, and they have to win and they have to work, and um, it gets exhausting. So, everybody needs that balance, beautiful balance of, masculine and feminine. But when you know when to use a little more masculine, when to use a little more feminine, and when to balance it all, it gets easier.
Thank you so much. There is so much beautiful, powerful wisdom here. And now I'd love to hear a little bit more about your journey with the card decks that we've created together. And my first question is, I don't think I've ever even asked you this, or I can't remember, but when did you first get the idea to create your own Oracle deck? Was that shortly before we started working together, or is it like a dream that you'd had for a long time already?
So, all my mentors have their own Oracle decks published, of course. And I always admired I have like a library. I have all the like Oracle decks. I have like a library full of Oracle decks, and I just love the power and the magic and all of it about Oracle decks. And several years ago, when I was working with one mentor, that I did have a plan to take in that route of being the published Oracle deck. But things happened with my mentor, and that kind of fell apart, and the plan just fell apart. But when I re-embraced my purpose after my sister's passing, um, I just started, like, I was picking up on signs and messages, and kind of like a breadcrumbs that was left by my fairies and angels. And I'm like, but I don't know how to put the like book proposal, or I have no idea how to do it. And I just had this idea of I wanted to channel um, animals, but specifically pets, because I have seen animal oracle decks, but I just wanted to do pets, because pets for me, they are my soul babies. Um, so as always, I just asked my guys, please guide me. And then I think one of your website popped up, or like your name showed up. And I think it wasn't even your Wonderland Published website. I think it was one of your meditation or something, but your name just lighted up. So I started see like, who is this Anna? And I signed up your newsletter and I started receiving like, oh, and then I just felt this deep connection with you. I felt like I knew you before. So I think I emailed you, I think. And
Yes, you
yeah,
did. It was perfect timing. I remember it was the beginning of the year, I think in 2022, and I had just kind of come back from my Christmas break and I had just updated my offerings and just actually put my contact form back online because I mean, usually, like for most of the year, I'm typically fully booked, and then I sometimes just put people on a waiting list. And I remember probably a day or two after I reactivated my contact form, you reached out, and it just felt like such a perfect fit right away. And I mean, exactly the same. I just felt like this soul connection right away is like so perfect. So I feel so blessed to have had the
oh,
opportunity to work with you on both of these
thank you.
projects and
I mean,
also
it
with our
was just divinely connected. It was like divine connection. And after I spoke to you the first time, I'm like, yes, 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 let's create this together.
and then also how we manifested our illustrator. Actually, when we started working on our first step together, the
Yes.
love messages from your pet oracle cards, we
Yeah, that was
had, I
a
mean,
journey too.
we had a kind of an idea of the style that we were looking for, but it took us a little while to really get clear on who to work with. And then, but Anna, her name, yeah, the illustrator's name is also Anna. I had worked with some of her stock art before and always really loved her work. And I think the first time we reached out to her, she didn't actually want to work on the project. And then the second time she said yes. And she's just been so amazing to work with.
It was truly a dream team. I manifested my dream team.
Yes, absolutely. And is there anything else that you would like to share about the process of actually working together? And I know I mean, it's been such a
Uh,
long journey, but like how would you say working together as a team, like all of us, helped you bring this vision into reality with more ease? And like what was that process like for you?
so um, I really wouldn't have been able to publish my oracle deck, not just one, but two, without you. I mean, really. I mean, I had no idea the process, and I am good at many, many things, but organization is not one of my um, thing. But you put together, I mean, you were there every step of the way. You guided me. And your suggestions, and then you are so connected where your advice is so aligned with me and what we wanted to do with those oracle deck. So um, the first deck, Pet Oracle deck, it took me a little bit to okay, what do we need to do? But um, you made sure that I didn't have to worry about anything. Um, and you made it so clear for me, what I need to do now. It's sort of because I think as we are creative people, so sometimes our head gets really, really big and we start thinking about, um, like fives that we get ahead of ourselves. That's what I meant. But you kept me in the now. And also you were so patient because all my messages are direct download. So sometimes Anna, it's not coming. But we just waited. So you were so patient, and you hold the space, our sacred space, so beautifully with love and compassion. And I loved working in that space that you created for us. So it was easy. And then Mermaid Oracle deck, I think we put it together pretty quick
Mm,
for yeah,
that one
sacred
was
deck.
faster, I guess, because we already had our illustrator from the start and the timing just aligned for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I guess the second time it's always a little bit faster because you already know the process, and
Mm-hmm.
there also tends to be less resistance because there's less of that mental noise of, I don't know how it works or
Mm-hmm.
um yeah, but I want to say you're such a clear channel. Like I really admire how you channeled through those messages, and I actually feel they came through really quickly. And I really enjoyed that way of working together. So for anybody who doesn't know, so I so far I've done all the editing for the decks. So Coco wrote all the content, and then I just came in with my edits, and so that was a really smooth and effortless process, I feel, for both of these decks. And
Feel
yeah.
very, very blessed that with both of you, Anna. We don't need a lot of words to understand each other. So I think that was one of the greatest gift too, that we had that connection and alignment, and we just understood each other so perfectly and beautifully. So the illustrator, Anna, she just knew what we're doing and what we're looking for. And yeah, it was just beautiful. And then with you, I really considered, both of my decks, it's, our co-creation. So,
Okay, I wanted to ask you, how did working on both of these decks help you grow as a creative, as a person, and or in business, whatever you feel inspired to
mhm.
share?
um, I mean, these are my babies, so of course I love my decks, but it also elevated my business because I was at I was away in Washington a few weeks ago, and I was just in the lobby. This is just an example, and now I travel or I go everywhere with my decks, right? So I was at this hotel in lobby with my friend, and we were chatting, and there were two ladies who just kept watching us, and I think I had my decks on the table. And finally, they came over and said, "Are you giving a reading?" And I said, "No, I'm just, sitting here chatting with my friend." And they went back to their couch and they kept still watching. And finally, they came in, "How much do you charge? Can you do a reading for us?" Um, so when you have, and I still use my friends' decks or my mentor's decks, but having your deck, you have that special bond with your deck. I mean, you know your deck like inside and out. And giving the reading for stranger, not like family and friends or clients or co-worker, it was like complete strangers with my deck was such an honor. Um, and they were crying, and just to see them so deeply connected um, with my deck was, I have no words. I was just overwhelmed with gratitude. Um, so, of course, my business, I mean, this, beautiful, amazing addition to my business as well as personal. I mean, my family and friends love my deck, and it's so fun. And the pet oracle deck we do, we play. the cards with our pets. So it creates more fun, and I think bonding between our family and friends and kids, and it's topic of our conversation, and it adds so much to my life personally and business wise.
So much magic. I love this story about the two women who saw your deck. I just love when that kind of magic happens, and it almost feels like it's this door opener or like this magical tool to create connection between people. And yeah, I can't wait to see what else unfolds for you on this journey. I feel like there's so much yet to come. I mean, these decks are just so beautiful.
Yeah,
They're
these
among
are definitely key to a lot more doors, magical doors to things.
I was just gonna say they're among my favorites so far, but I always say this about almost all of my decks because I just love all decks. So how about we pull some cards for our audience?
Yeah.
I always love doing this with my authors. So I was thinking we could each pull one card from either one of the decks. I have the Mermaid Oracle here, but you're free to choose.
Feeling
Would
mermaid because we were talking about divine feminine.
And then maybe we can pull a pet Oracle card afterwards too, just for fun. We'll see. Okay, do you want to start?
Maybe we can pull it at the same time.
Yes, exactly. What if we pull the same card? It's never happened before, but
Oh, should we ask a question?
My intention is to receive whatever message serves the highest good of everyone watching this video.
That was mine as well.
Okay, so we're totally aligned in that.
I think I have mine.
I got my card. I haven't looked at it yet. You want to reveal yours first?
Sure. Rhythm of Honu from Abundance Suit number 5. And I think this just perfectly aligns with what we've been talking about.
Do you want to share a little bit more about what's coming through for you intuitively for those who don't know what this card is about?
Sure. So I think you mentioned it when we were talking about like how we must take our time and time to take time for ourselves, for self-care, self-love. And also, so Honu is based in Hawaiian spirit, and the turtle, of course, represents slow pace, slow life, but surely. So it's given me a beautiful your own pace and going with the flow. And it's an abundance suite, so of course, letting go, going with your own pace, going with the flow will, bring much more, abundance. And let's see, I'm looking up also the guidebook. So Mermaid Oracle, we decided to divide into 4 suits, and this one particularly in abundance. And also number 5 represents change, transformation.
I think that's a very relevant one for a lot of people right now.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like so many people are going through immense changes right now.
Mm-hmm. And just taking everything in a gentle way, like more gentle way, including yourself, your family. It can be harsh out there in the world, in the society, but being gentle towards ourselves and towards other people, and just flow, and everything is gonna be there, still tomorrow. So not needing to rush everything and just, and that also remind us to trust, right? Like when we want something, like we want it now and we want it to see manifest like today or tomorrow, but trusting the divine timing of all things is so important for us to effortlessly, manifest our desires.
I totally agree. That's one thing I've really learned on my journey. I mean, sometimes when we work so hard or we're so busy all the time, it can kind of create the impression that we're manifesting so much through our actions. But what I've seen is that if I just totally let go, basically, I can just set the intention or ask for something, and often I can just totally let go, work on something completely different. And it's like, in the meantime, the universe works on it for me. I don't even have to work on it with a lot of action at all. And then when the timing comes, maybe I'll know it's time to take action on something, and then it comes from that inspired place.
Exactly.
Um,
It's amazing how, like, when we align ourselves, it's amazing how everything kind of unfold on its own. People show up, and like people you need show up, or everything just kind of happens without you, putting so much effort in it.
mm. Okay, let me
What's
look at my card. No way.
Oh my gosh,
I
no
did it. I
way.
promise I didn't cheat.
Wow, no way.
I really didn't cheat.
We cannot
This
make
is so funny.
we cannot make this up.
I mean, even just the fact that I pulled the same card, but that I said while I was shuffling that, what if we both pull the same card? I mean, this is crazy.
Wow, we cannot make this up. Oh my God.
I'm crying. Oh my God. So, what can I add to this? You already said it so beautifully. I guess the only thing I could add is when you were talking about, the turtle kind of being a symbol of taking it slow and going with the flow. I was getting this image of, the turtle also kind of being carried by the water, like being carried by life. And so being fully supported by life. And what you said about change, the five representing change. And I'm just getting the impression right now a lot of people are going through big changes, but it definitely applies to
Mhm.
myself. And I feel like this message right now feels really personal for me too, just knowing that when we go through big changes, we can trust that we are fully supported. And even if things seem to unfold a little bit more slowly or not as quickly as we wish, then everything is in perfect divine order, and we can trust, as we just said, that the universe is working behind the scenes. And um, the way I really see it is that everything is always unfolding perfectly if we can trust that. And I just love how we both pulled that same card. And
So,
for
mhm.
sorry, I was just gonna say, for anybody who doesn't know that, we haven't actually mentioned this yet, but there's a QR code on the back of each card that if you scan it, it links to an audio, like a 1 minute and 11-second audio that you can listen to. That's like a kind of like a sound healing audio, or like a frequency that can help you amplify the vibration of each card.
I was just going to add, so I'm a student of angel numbers, but I'm currently learning to combine numerology and angel number together. And so 5 is change is coming in angel numbers, as most people know. And 5 in numerology is being the visionary. So for me, combining angel number with numerology gives a story of we are welcoming the change that is coming with bigger vision and with curiosity and, faith and acceptance. So, whatever it comes, it is meant to be. And when we um, receive the change with, open arms and open minds and trust that, it's usually a beautiful, thing. Change is a beautiful thing. So, and since you and I pulled our same card, and I remember we included a turtle in Pet Oracle deck.
That's true.
So instead of pulling the card, I would like to look at the turtle card from the Pet Oracle and see what message that will add to the theme. Would you
That's
like
an
that?
awesome
Yes.
idea. Yes, let's do that.
So I am looking for. Oh, I cannot believe. I mean, yes, I can't believe that we pulled the same card. Make this.
That's the kind of magic that happens when two magical creatures come together. Oh, I just got the Your Magic card here. That's one of my very favorites in this deck.
That's my soda too.
This cat reminds me so much of my cat Oliver, who unfortunately passed away a couple years ago, but he's like my soulmate cat.
I know my black kitty soda, who is in that card. He just have the most gentle soul that I have ever met.
Oliver he was very gentle. He was like a total gentleman. We had two cats eventually, and I remember he would always let the other cat eat first. Like she would even steal his food, and they loved their canned food, and then he would always let her eat first. And he would come up to you and give you hugs, and
Soda always gives me kisses.
I've got the turtle card.
Are you Zen? So definitely in the same theme. The guidebook reads, "Honey, slow down. It is in the stillness that you find the sacred truth. Allow your awareness to land on the whispers of ancient wisdom. It's awesome to be out there in the world, vibrantly living in full color. It's also important to get really quiet sometimes. Allow tranquility to rise from within you. When you do, a beautiful calm energy washes over you. Zen comes when we trust deeply in divine love, in the universe's promises, and in the angels' protection. It comes when we are overflowing with peace. Today, let's take time out from our business, embody serenity, and feel the tranquility flowing within us. So I think it's all in the theme of today. Very divine feminine, of receiving and letting go and going with the flow. Manifest our deepest heart desires.
This just reminds me of like kind of a silly example, but I just got some firewood delivered the other day, and I was kind of waiting to find the right person to deliver it to me. But this past weekend, I think Sunday it was, like all of a sudden I just felt like, okay, now's the time. I just got to reach out to someone on Facebook, and like within a few hours, he delivered my firewood. And but while I was kind of starting to like stack the wood over in my yard, then I put my back out. So then usually when I stack firewood, I'm so much in my masculine energy, and I just love, getting into action and just getting rid of all that excess energy. But like this time it's been such a different process. I've just been taking it so slowly, just a little bit at a time, just so, it's not even just my back, but I just feel like my energy right now is so much in that place of just needing to just get a lot of rest. And
Mm-hmm.
and be so gentle with myself. And so that process has been so much more like a meditation, and it's kind of been interesting to see. Um, Everything that we just talked about just reminds me so much of that.
Yeah, that gentle flow.
Mm,
Gentle flow. I mean myself too. I'm guilty of getting caught in the day of working, 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 and like I need to stop and breathe. And one quick tip that um, I may share with everyone is that when we get into that masculine flow of action, um, I use rose. It doesn't have to be the real rose, but I will look at like a picture of a rose, or I make this spray, rose water spray with Lake Tahoe water, and I will just like spray, and that will instantly give me that, or instantly balances my feminine and masculine. So it's a quick thing that we can kind of quickly shift and go back into that balance.
Rose is one of my favorites. It's definitely one of my favorite essential oils is rosewood actually, but also I've had like those oils just for my skin. Like wild rose is my favorite smell, or one of my
Mhm.
very favorite smells in this entire world.
Yeah, I remember you
Mm.
make them from your wild rose that you.
I experimented this year.
Mhm.
It actually ended up, I mean, it looked really amazing when I took the pictures, but I'm not so happy with the result, to be honest. But even just, just that project working with the rose petals that day, that was so beautiful. Next time I'll know what I need to do differently.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah, flowers,
mm,
natures help us instantly to go back into the feminine, or bring that feminine back, and then we can balance. So I love that.
mm. Before we end this call, is there anything else, any last words of wisdom that you'd like to share with our audience?
Um, I am so utterly grateful for this journey and path and connection with you and the other Anna. Um, it is, I feel that this is lifelong, very special connection that I will um, cherish. Um, so, and anybody who is listening and thinking or imagining your own oracle deck, please, we need you. We need your light, we need your gift, and oracle decks are just gorgeous way to um, put your gift out there, so the world can embrace it. Um, so
Yes, I absolutely agree. And thank you so much for everything that you just said. I feel exactly the same way. It's been such a blessing to work with you over this longer period of time. And I mean, everything that we've created together feels so special. And I just really enjoy working with you. And um, last question, where can we find you? Is there a specific website that you'd like to share with us? I'll also link the decks down in the description so you can find those.
So each
What's
oracle deck have its
mm,
own website that Anna graciously helped me put together, but they are both available on Amazon.
yes. And then you also have a personal website for your coaching services.
Yes,
Is
it's
it?
coco.love. It's
Yes.
www.coco.love, and if you do go to individual website, you can actually get a free reading, free card.
Oh,
So
yes. You can.
um,
Yes.
I am totally spacing off of our website address. Maybe Anna can post it.
I'll link them down in the comments or in the
Mhm.
in the description so you can find them. So it's
Yeah.
petoracle.love, I think, and
Mhm.
mermaid-oracle.com. But
Yes.
I'll have to confirm that. I'll link them in the description.
Yeah. So if you like free card and the message, you can do so on those websites. But if you just would like to um, receive those Oracle decks, and it's on Amazon. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you so much, Coco. And also for anybody who's interested in working with me to help them bring their dream of their own Oracle card deck to life. I do currently have some space for new projects. Just cleared my space over the summer, so I have maybe 1 or 2 more spots available for the rest of this year. And then there's also some new services and offers coming. So I'll link my website down below as well, and you can go check it out. And I'd love to hear from you. So, thank you so much for your time today, for wisdom, and for this amazing, beautiful magic that we worked together today. Oh, it's just so
Just
amazing.
amazing. We cannot make this up. And I can't wait to create more to come with you. So thank
Yes,
you so
and
much for having me today.
thank you. And I can't wait to be back with more very soon.